I am the last guy to look in his eyes as he's standing up. We're moving like we move, but guess what? Silent. He had less than a second to convince me not to kill him, and he didn't convince me. Boom, the door blows, now let's go. We got the call, and then we went up, and that's where they said, hey, the reason you guys are here, well, at first they said we found a thing in a house, and this house is in a bowl in this mountain range, and mountain range in a country, blah, 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 and they wouldn't tell us who it was. We did figure it out, and then a couple days later, they introduced us to the woman. The team, mostly women, but there was a woman who obviously was running the show, and she, and Maya from Zero Dark 30, she's depicted. Jessica Chastain nailed that role. If anyone listening or reading this has not seen Zero Dark 30, and you want to know what the woman that found bin Laden is exactly like, that's her. But she's the one that came up to the commanding officer and said, the reason you're here is this is as close as we've ever been to Osama bin Laden. And when we were in that room, it was cool because there was no high fives. You know, we just like, yeah, okay, are we going now? Let's go. But then we had to show them we could do it, and we had to meet the helicopters that even President Obama didn't know about. So that was actually a relief, because based on the technology, it was we were comfortable with it being a suicide mission. Not suicide mission, a one-way mission, not suicide, because if we're going to die, we're killing bin Laden. That's what we all came to do. But yeah, we trained up there, we got to go, and then we forward staged in Jalalabad, Afghanistan.
You talk about preparing to die, and I thought that was a really sort of touching moment in interviews and series that I've watched you and just how difficult was that moment saying bye to your family and particularly to your children ahead of the mission.
What was hard there was I couldn't tell them where I was going. They had just celebrated me coming back, and my youngest girl was 3, and they were used to, even when we, on a normal year, we're away from our kids 320 days a year, just whatever. And they're just used to it, and they're strong. I mean, their story should be told eventually. But I had to leave again, and I said, this is my goodbye to her forever. And I can't even cry in front of her because I'm whatever. And she went upstairs and got a Hello Kitty carry-on, like whatever a carry-on a 3-year-old carries. And literally she packed a pillow and her favorite Mr. Elephant. And she said, I'm taking, as best a 3-year-old can, said, you're taking me on vacation when you come back. And so I take that with me, and I can't cry. So there it is. And then when I got over to Afghanistan, I actually wrote letters to my kids. But like with another daughter who she was 4 in her preschool classroom. She was 7 for bin Laden. When I went over there, the letter I wrote to her, I didn't write to the 7-year-old. I wrote to the 27-year-old. I literally, I'm really sorry I couldn't be at your wedding. I know you're beautiful, and thank you for taking care of your sisters. What we did was noble. Explaining to her why and what we did, why I wasn't there. Tears hitting the pages. I'm explaining to, she's not even 27 yet. But that's what you take with you. But this is what's right. This is why Democrats and Republicans work together so well on this mission. This is why President Obama risked getting reelected. Politics had nothing to do with this. It's not hard to tell what's right and what's wrong. And this was right, and everyone knew it. And it was just, we're fulfilling what's supposed to happen.
How much certainty did you have? Because even
100%. Just because of the team that found her, the woman, every time that we were trained, because we trained about 2.5 weeks, we finished everything, she would point at the model and say, right now, Osama bin Laden is on the 3rd floor of this house. I don't understand why we're not launching. Have a good night. Nice. She did that since we met her, but we were certain. And then when we did get the call, on the flight in, it was, just getting on with my guys. We got a 90-minute flight to his house. Let's do this.
There was a lot of contention about that flight because that's 100 miles across Pakistan. Yeah, and obviously were you scared on the way there? I mean, how did you sort of keep your focus flying, actually going to the combat?
There's no point in worrying about that. That is completely out of my hands. Getting hit with a missile is not, I'm not going to stop it. And all it's going to do is make me nervous. So and fear's fine. It's okay to be afraid because fear makes you think more clearly. Panic. See, if you're afraid of that, you might panic, and panicking in a helicopter flying into Pakistan is a bad idea. So just don't panic. That's the way I talk to you. And the way I would talk myself into that is by counting. I count to myself all the time, and just get my mind off of that. But I was watching other dudes. I saw a guy fall asleep on the helicopter. That amazed me. He was right next to me. It was funny. You know how you can't help what you think, but you can help how you say it. I'm going to tell you how I was thinking. I looked to my left, and there was Cairo, the Melon and Chesney, his handler. I looked at that guy. He had his headphones on, and he was listening to music asleep. My first thought was, "You're asleep on the ride to Osama bin Laden's house. You have ice in your veins, and I actually see why women find you attractive." That's like, I remember thinking that stupid stuff.
Was this the same sniper who rescued Captain Phillips in the crew? It's the same one, right? Okay, he really does have ice in his.
We're a very small team.
You get there, and obviously, immediately the helicopter goes down. I mean, did you think the mission was close to failure at that point? How did you feel?
I didn't know it crashed. I was in the other one. So I was in the second one.
Right. Okay.
And to keep it simple, and try this in life. If you want, just keep everything simple. So if you get really, really good at the easy stuff, you're the hard stuff's going to come. Plus the complications come. So master the really easy stuff. Get really good at tying your shoes. But so we call them Dash 1, Dash 2. Dash 1 was going to hover in front of his house. Dash 2 was going to drop off snipers and put us on the roof. My team's going to the roof. Snipers outside. We're going to hit them that way. But for whatever reason, the pilot couldn't hold it, and he decided to crash land it because he knew that if he powered through, he'd crash and kill everyone. And he made a decision. His story, I hope he gets it out, is incredible. Pilots are the heroes on this mission. And, well, let's be honest, pilots are the heroes on every mission. But so then my job, they put them down, went up, and this pilot saw that bird go down, so he just went back down. And I'm assuming his thoughts were, he can't hover, I'm not going to hover, I'm putting him out, and he kind of said, get out. So we got out, and I'm looking over a wall up at bin Laden's house, and I know exactly where I am. That I didn't think we needed to train as much as we did, but I was happy at that point because I'm very prepared, knowing I'm looking at his house there. That means off to my left is the northeast corner. There's double doors. Let's blow those. So we're going to those. The breacher came up, and he decided to put a 7-foot charge of C6 on the door, which will open everything. So it blew up, and the door flew open, but there's another brick wall there. And the thought was failed breach initially. Failed breach. No, this is not bad. This is good because that's a fake door. Nobody puts a fake door on their house. He's in there. So then we went to the other door. I still didn't know the other bird crashed. I knew there was something going on inside. I heard them saying Dash 1 going around. Dash 1 going around. What they were saying was Dash 1 going down. So they're in there. They crashed. I didn't know that. I said, hey, this is so-and-so as a courtesy, failed breach, wherever. It was actually me and the sniper from my wedding. And he said, someone, we're going to blow. And they said, don't blow it. We'll open it. And the door just opened and the thumb came out. We know the glove. And that's a point in life where it doesn't matter why. I don't know how they got in there, but it doesn't really matter now, does it? They just are. And also, if you're getting crazy politically in your own mind, think about that. It really doesn't matter why we're here. We just are. Now let's deal with the problem. But they're there. The air crew from the other bird is there. It still doesn't register to me what's going on. They have different uniforms, but American flag. All I thought was, who the f*** are these guys? But I know there's a gunfight going on over here. So we go in, and one of my buddies had just gotten engaged in bin Laden's house through the window. There's something going on over there. I'm just going into bin Laden's house, and then I went into a corner, or into my first room on the right, and that's just hallway gets busy. So I'm in there. The other guy informed me that the helo went down. So, okay, this makes sense. The sniper says some stuff that he saw something outside. We're all on the same sheet. Everyone's fine.
Right.
The cool part for me, though, because I love getting into the human element of everything. Because look at me. I'm a dude that went. We didn't break glass and a bunch of whatever came out. A guy that can't afford his mortgage went to bin Laden's house. So I'm looking down the hallway, and there's a big guy at the end. I can tell, I obviously know exactly who he is. I've been with him forever. But that was what I was thinking, is I'm in Osama bin Laden's house. This is the zenith of where you want to be. And I'm watching him work a problem the way you're supposed to. Hey, the door's locked. First thing you should do, check to see if it's open. Try the doorknob, see if it's locked. Give it a kick or a pull, whatever. Start to escalate. I'm watching him do this. I know where it's headed, and I'm thinking back. I went through training with this guy in the 90s. I checked into SEAL Team 2 with this guy. I remember breaching with him. I remember On Wednesdays in Virginia Beach, we went to a restaurant and bar called Hot Tuna because that's where everyone went, but don't drink too much because we're explosive breaching on Thursday. I went through selection for SEAL Team 6 with this guy. I went to Red Squadron with this guy. I was on we rescued Marcus Luttrell. He was on the jump for Captain Phillips. And now I'm watching him breach a house in Bin Laden, or breach a door in Bin Laden's house. I'm so proud of him, right? Boom, the door blows. Now let's go. Like, that's what I'm thinking. So then we get to the
yeah.
These are my best friends in the world. That's why I don't care if we die. So then we get to the stairs. Maya, whatever her name was, told us there's going to be whatever. There's a quick whisper meeting on the stairs. Boom, they kill Khalid bin Laden because she said, if her words were, if you can ace him, you get a shot at the big guy. So now this is SEAL Team 6, and we're moving. We're moving like we move, but guess what? We're silent. They can hear explosions. They can hear shit going on. There was a shot taken up the stairs. I was about 8 guys back, but I get there. Other guys had split left and right. There's one set of stairs left. There's a curtain at the top of it where a door should be, but it's like a blanket curtain. And there's a guy that had already taken a shot, and I get to him. Now, my job is the number 2 man. He's the 1 man. His job is to look forward. And as point man, you always look down your gun. And I've heard point man be brought up. People say point man this, the point man. Point man is a position that changes every second and a half. So, but right now, point man's here. I'm now 2 man, which changes every 1.7 seconds. My job is to get more guys. His job is to look forward. He wants more. I don't have it. We decide to go because he thinks there's suicide bombers up the stairs for sure. And I can close my eyes and see it right now. I remember looking down. I was not being brave. I was thinking, I'm going to eat an explosion. I'm tired of thinking about it. Go. And we went up. So we go up the stairs. He moved it, and he tackled 2 people. He knew. When we got back, when we first got back and we had Osama bin Laden's body laying there, and we talked to Admiral Bill McRaven, who was the overall commander of the whole thing, when we know here's what happened. I remember he said to him, you jumped on what you thought were suicide bombers? And his response was, I didn't want the guy behind me to die. And he didn't even know it was me. It's not like he did it for my family. He just knew it was his guy, right? Again, the human element. But anyway, because he did that, I turned left because I knew the basics. There's Osama bin Laden standing there. Boom, boom, boom. I shoot him 3 times, and I move Amal because he had been moving. He had his hands on his wife Amal's shoulder, and she'd been shot in the leg somehow. And he's moving her, and as I'm there, because there's only 2 SEALs in the room, and I know there's another. So there's another group going to be coming in with a new point man. Like I'm explaining the point man, there's going to be another one. So I need to get them out of the way because it's very dynamic now. This is SEAL Team 6 close quarters battle, which you do not see. If you play a video game or watch on television or see guys in a line, hot, 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 that's not us. This is dynamic, it's fluid, it's fast, and we don't shoot each other. But I don't know what these anomalies are going to do. So I actually looked down at his 2-year-old son, Hussein. And as a father, my first thought was, this kid has nothing to do with this. Why did this happen? So now I'm moving them. Sure as the other team, now they come in. Other stuff's going on. There was a minute, because I got to go get a picture of him. This is another cool moment where one of my guys because I guess I paused, and a guy goes, are you good? And I said, yeah, but what do we do now? And he said, now we find the computers, man. Come on, Nizro, we do this every night, hundreds of times. I said, yeah, you're right, I'm back. He said to me, yeah, you just killed Osama bin Laden. Nobody cares, get to work. Or no, he said your life just, you just killed Osama bin Laden, your life just changed. Nobody cares, get to work.
So you didn't have time to soak it in, really, obviously, because there's just so much going.
Now it's like because what I meant by that was we did it. We can get out of here. Because this is supposed to blow up. Let's go. So now we got to put him in a body bag. I went to the 2nd floor at first while some guys put him in a body bag. I ran into Cheese and Cairo. I remember Cheese used to do this. He used to do the Little John. Yeah. And we were talking to each other. So he's got Cairo on the 2nd deck. I said, I'm pretty sure I just shot that in the face to Cheese. Over the radio, it said, Forgotten Country, Geronimo, 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 EKA. Geronimo is a pro word for I'm in the room with bin Laden. EKA means enemy killed in action. He looked at me and he goes, yeah, and we high five. And then we're gathering all this. I'm not trying to make it Hollywood. This is just what happened. I went into a room. There was a bunch. I opened this bag. We're looking for sensitive site exploitation. There's a big bag. I thought it was freeze-dried ribeye steaks. That's what it looked like. Like they got food here I'm like, hold on, this is opium. This is all opium. Okay, they're funding Al Qaeda. Okay, then we started finding computers and hard drives, and old school CD-ROMs like floppy disks. Remember those things? Are you even old enough? Yeah. We were breaking towers to take shit, and there's 3 offices. So then I go back upstairs. Bin Laden's in a body bag. Me and the first guy up the stairs. We grabbed the front. I forget which side I was on. Doesn't matter. And 2 other dudes. He and I had a conversation down the stairs, and it was something. I don't remember what he said. I don't want to paraphrase. But we pull Bin Laden's body out the first gate, the gate that they opened. The sniper from Captain Phillips is there, and I go, "Hey, buddy, here's your guy." And he said something like, "Let's go." So now we got to blow up the other helicopter. We got to get other stuff. We do that. We separate dudes. The first team gets on our helicopter that flies in with the body. They take off. We call in another dude. I'm sorry. Another helicopter, but this time we have to blow up the stealth helicopter. We had to call in, I think it was an MH4, it's definitely a 47, a Chinook that has the 2 blades. This never gets brought up because the Navy SEALs that went in Bin Laden's house are not the heroes. The Army pilots and the air crew from the Army and the Navy SEALs on the helicopter that came in are the heroes because the Army and SEAL Team 6 rescued SEAL Team 6 on the Bin Laden raid. That is never brought up for some reason. And they're not flying a stealth helicopter, so no, we get on that. There was a dude outside tweeting. We used to call it Twitter. He was outside tweeting. I remember seeing him because we're on the perimeter calling in a 47. There was a guy with his phone in his face, and I remember him because if I'm in Iraq and I just killed the guy in that house, I'm killing that guy too because that's a terrorist trying to blow the house up with the phone. When I saw him, I thought, by the way, this is why they sent SEAL Team 6. I'm not just going to shoot him. I'm going to think. My first thought was, they have no idea we're here. We blew up. Yeah, and it's like, and nothing, I'm not disparaging, but like a lot of people would say I could get a kill right now and no one could say anything because it's justified. But I'm like, this is just funny to me. I mean, this dude, look, the dude came out of his house. He watched the greatest mission in modern history, didn't even know it. So, and his tweet is still up. You can find it. It's like something about doing a drill on a Sunday. It's pretty funny. And we got to leave. But it's sort of sinking in. If I can live for 90 minutes, I get to see my daughters. Like, if I can live for it's going to take 90 minutes to get across that border, but if I can live for 90 minutes, I get 50 years. Get on the bird. So we get on, now we're flying. It's another team from SEAL Team 6. There are many squadrons. There's a dude next to me. I know him well. Really, his name is Rob. He's from New York. I'm sitting next to the sniper that rescued Richard Phillips. Here's where it's starting to get weird for me because we're flying out. The guy from New York asked the question every Navy SEAL asked, the one everyone asked, who got him? I said, I did. He immediately said, on behalf of my family, thank you. Which is weird to me because he's a SEAL Team 6 guy. And then the sniper hands me a can of his dip because I would always give him dip and say, hey, take one of mine, you hero. Because he rescued Richard Phillips. He handed me one on the helicopter, said, take one of mine, now you know what it feels like to be a hero. Or, as well as you can hear over the whine of 2 engines from a 47. But now we're leaving, and we could get shot down again, but worrying about that's not going to stop it. So just start your stopwatch and enjoy the ride.
You're counting on the way back. I think I remember you saying as well somewhere about repeating what Bush said on 9/11 to yourself, and then just...
that was on the way in. Yeah, on the way in, I forgot that. I did remember that because the helicopters were very profound. On the way in, I was counting 556, 557, and I thought freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
I remember saying that because I started to get amped up, and my thoughts, at that time when I said a phrase verbatim that I didn't even know, I remember thinking, okay, this is the team, I'm a part of it, and we're gonna kill them. It's like it's not. I'm going to give you some breaking news here. You send SEAL Team 6. We're not pulling anyone out. We're not capturing anybody. They send us for a reason. So anyway, we're flying out now, and I look down at the watch. It's like 10 minutes. All right, cool. And then you're trying to talk like I'm 20. All right, 30 minutes. Now it's getting serious. 40 minutes. Okay, 50 minutes. If I get to 90, I get to see my daughters. 50, 60. Then I started thinking about all the sports I've played, watching a no-hitter at Yankee Stadium, top of the 7th, no-hitter. I'm not going to say anything, don't want to jinx it. I literally thought about Al Michaels' voice during, I just repeats because I was only 4 during Miracle on Ice, when Team USA, ice hockey in Lake Placid, the Olympics, is playing the greatest hockey team ever assembled. In the Russians, these dudes are huge. They're all on steroids. They haven't lost a game. They've won everything since the 60s. They're beating Olympic teams in this by 10. And this American team, they don't even like each other. They hate their coach. No business being on the ice, but now they're winning 4-3 in the third, and you can hear the crowd. 10-9. I can hear Al Michaels. 5 seconds left. Do you believe in miracles? The pilot came over the radio in that monotone pilot voice and said, "All right, gentlemen, for the first time in your lives, you're going to be happy to hear this. Welcome to Afghanistan."
Cinema, fantastic. That's so cool.
High five. We have to land. Then we have to wait on the other, but because that big ugly one we flew in is actually the fastest one we got. They land. Everyone's fine. I actually I had a talk with the point man that led me up the stairs. He's on another boat. We talked, and he's the one that said, "Hey," he said, "Hey, there she is, man. You got to." His words to me were, "You got to give her something. You own this." So I gave her the magazine out of the gun, and then all the bullets that were underneath the 3 that killed bin Laden to her.
And you gave it to the mission, the mission organizer.
She has
wow.
it still.
So
And
she
then
still has.
there was, we had a we stood around bin Laden's body, and then the ground force commander, who is a commander in the Navy, SEAL Team 6 commander. I think he's an admiral now. He grabbed Admiral McCraven. Another weird time for me. He said I want to meet the guy that killed him, and he brought him over. And I remember McCraven put his hand on my shoulder, and he just said, "Your life just changed." And I said, "Yeah, I've heard. I don't know what that means."
But it did, inexorably, obviously.
It was never drawn up that way. Life happens around you as you're planning. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan for tomorrow.
That's what a quote. And how do you think the mission has just impacted like geopolitical tensions, counterterrorism operations going forward in the world more generally now? Like, how impactful is that mission still to this day?
What it's done is it has, and I'm not saying, I mean America, yes, but I'm also saying the who I perceive as the good guys, and I'm very careful with that too, because I've been to enough war to realize that everyone thinks they're the good guys. No one's out there saying, "Look at me, I'm the bad guy." No, we're all saving each other from something. I'm just happy that my side has proven that we can come get you whenever we want to. And I mentioned my brothers from the Special Boat Service earlier. We also have the SAS. They're world famous, obviously, the Australian SAS. I can go on and on. That's my version of the good guys. We can come get you whenever we want, and we've proven it. And we do have guys that will come capture you too. Just don't expect to see SEAL Team 6 capture as a world leader.
There were people, obviously, there's been debate in the past about firing the final shots, the fatal shots at bin Laden. What do you have to say to those people?
All right. I mean, it's literally watching the sun come up and having someone tell you it didn't. I'm telling you my story, and that's what happened. I don't need to convince anyone. I don't care. The man's dead, and the team got him, and the pilots got us there, and God bless the intel for finding him.
I do realize just that moment. I just would like to hear from you one more time. Like, what was the sort of moment where you sort of realize, oh my God, that's bin Laden, and you shoot him? I mean, just like the sort of fight, slow down.
My first thought of him was how skinny he was. Because I believed he was as tall as he was, so that was confirmed. He was really skinny. That was him. It was him. There's no doubt about it. And he, I accepted blowing up. He had less than a second to convince me not to kill him, and he didn't convince me. Right, great. And then it's just like that, shoot to kill. Oh no! Bang, bang. And as far as the shooter, I am telling you on a Bible, I am the last guy to look in his eyes as he's standing up. If people want to believe me, I will tell them that. But I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you what happened. I'm telling the story.